take.
Yeah, A3 enjoying a mini revival in this tournament, I guess.
That's one way to look at the undefeated +5.
Once again.
This is still following a long, well-established main lines.
Or maybe I think we were trying not to play a 4, I have a feeling, in this position. I think we were trying to play knight G3 instead.
Praggnanandhaa still in book.
Yeah, these positions,
yeah,
they generally are completely fine for black, but also kind of safe for white. I feel there is a lot of potential simplifications here. There's absolutely no way I can remember any of these move orders 8 years in the past. I did in the meantime check what my notes say, and after knight G3, I don't know if obliged is the right word, because I think maybe queen D7 in this position is playable, but you can play G6, and the point is not bishop takes C4 here. And after the queen goes away from where the fight is going to be, black goes H5, or at least this is what it's suggested in my notes. And suddenly this bishop is incredibly strong. White is a pawn up, but it's not a very meaningful pawn just yet because of how sort of discoordinated the white pieces are. If you take on H5, my guess is black just hits instantly with queen H4 and rook H7, and the pawn on H2 is actually falling. So white probably is in a lot of trouble if they do that. As topical, yeah, I don't see why knight E7 shouldn't be played instead of G6. Bishop takes F5 still exists here. You still have bishops. Sorry, a bishop against 2 knights. Pragg decides against all of that anyway, goes queen F3.
So Praggnanandhaa potentially in trouble on knight C7 was played. And I see the little bar next to the live board.
The plan for white is not so dumb, actually. That you play this structure which kind of looks horrible, but you can sort of stay afloat with this plan of bringing the knight to F1 to E3 and the bishop to H4, and your pieces that look horrible might not be that bad, and it's not that easy for black to improve his position, even though it looks nice with everything protected. I guess it's the old theory that if your pieces are poorly placed, you have more useful moves because you can spend time improving them. So I'm sure he'll find a decent way.
Mm.
And he's
said that knight C8.
Knight C8, yeah, that's a really classy move. I don't know if it's a good move, but it shows.
Yeah. Black in the meantime also achieved some progress, I guess, blocking the B file, getting the rooks connected, getting some pressure against the white queen side. The one big issue black still has is I think Andrei would very much prefer the bishop to be on the long diagonal, and Magnus was suggesting rook B8 instead of rook E8 on move 21.
Yeah.
Wasn't played, and that bishop is still kind of stuck on a square where it's not doing very much. The man is a machine, yeah, he's not very young anymore, and is playing somebody who is younger and supposedly fitter and higher ranked, and loses the first 2 sets. And then just randomly decides, no, I'm not losing today. And
do you know who's better here in Praggnanandhaa?
No idea. Pragg actually went for something very, very sharp and concrete after rook bc1, rook e6. Machine doesn't really like g4, but it defends against g4 in a very, very artificial fashion. So g4 was definitely an option, but Pragg chooses the different flank altogether, goes a4, knight g5. I thought it was very strong, but yeah, bishop b7 I missed completely. I didn't even see this option existed.
Gives g5 first move. Whoa, good luck.
Yeah, I don't think it's playable in a practical game.
c7.
We can take on c3 here, and maybe even we don't lose occasionally. Like it's less completely lost than the previous one. d6, d5 strictly the only move in that last position, because otherwise I guess the knight on c3 gets picked up. But we do get to trade quite a lot of pawns here. This might not be entirely hopeless, yeah. Yeah, which is now losing to a number of things.
But
yeah.
it's not. Doesn't allow a direct win at the very least, it seems like. Renewing the threat,
Yeah.
less crushing.
Yeah, hard to figure out why.
By
Yeah.
the computer, but this looks completely hopeless as well at first sight.
Yeah. white is not just completely winning after knight f6 and bishop f6.
There's also still quite some attack, right? Like
I
queen
guess so.
h4, something's gonna give. So we might get quite some decisive results. No, currently it looks like Praggnanandhaa should win.
And he actually has a choice here, but like, why even search? Knight f6 is just so obviously completely winning for him. Because you that's absolutely the move you want to make, and also you just kind of know you're completely winning. So. Yeah, the bishop is black never really catches the bishop on h8. It always has ways to come. And Knight 7 bishop c2, I guess, or bishop e2, whichever.
Bishop g5 blitzed out, so apparently not that inhuman a move. And
yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, it's still ongoing. This is still move 32, and Andrei doesn't have very much time left. He does go queen c6. It's always going to be the main move in this position. You realize that you can't give white any tempi to land a blow on the king side that would immediately end the game. It looks kind of weird to allow this, but the threat of bishop takes f5 is a little bit too strong. And yeah, he does go queen h3. Because I think with that kind of a structure, you lose one game and you are in a tremendous amount of trouble in terms of winning your qualifier. Some outliers there, so you get. I'm guessing most of the groups there will be, quote unquote, group of death, but some groups of death are kind of more group of deathy than others.
Praggnanandhaa, the youngster about to defeat Esipenko, exchange and the compensation, as we say. Queen a8 with winning position, for example. I'm always surprised when I have the engine running here, when I see the numbers like +6 or something. Obviously white is better or winning, but +6 seems like such a lot. But computer can just see this construction collapses, I guess.
Yeah, it just isn't stable enough, and the machine takes it apart. There was more than one way to just immediately kill the game off. In particular, there was a very beautiful moment which I showed earlier, but worth showing again, on move 35, which I think is maybe even findable, if not for the fact that the position is so winning. Yeah, the move g2, g4 here is a thing of beauty, very enjoyable.
That's hot.
Yeah, but I think if the position was slightly more unclear, Pragg probably would have even played it. But because he just knows he's winning basically as long as he keeps his mind uncluttered, he just didn't want to bother. Yeah, queen h1 turns out not to be a threat, so white just wins very, very easily.
Just safeguarding the g5 pawn. And he has to find a way to break through. But the way exists, computers still say this is completely winning with like queen a6 covering this pawn. Hinting at rook d1 or bishop a4 to enter. Black construction just is not stable enough. It's going to take a while, but Praggnanandhaa will win. Yeah, not much has changed. Praggnanandhaa still completely winning, but taking his time here.
And now, once the queens come off, you kind of really, really hate continuing, even because white can take as long as they want, and there's never any doubt whatsoever. Yeah, a first level of defense here. I don't know, like, the knight looks very beautiful on e5, but I don't know if that actually helps, because it allows, like, on c8 it sort of stops the incursions by the rook on a1, so maybe you are better off just keeping it on c8. But it looks like the dream here is to play like knight b6, d7, e5, and then try to hold that position with a knight on an active square. But I think you hold neither, basically. It just depends on how quickly you lose.
You don't play 4a3 if you're looking for a quiet last round.
No, yeah. Eventually he'll find, not find, really, settle on a plan, and whatever plan he settles on, I feel like will be enough. I don't really think this is a fortressable position. On the topic of words that definitely do exist, I don't think it's a fortressable position, but we'll see. It's been what, like 15 moves-ish? 10 moves since the queens were traded, and yeah, he's just playing, king of 7, king c7.
I think for 40 more moves and play g3, then rinse, repeat.
The fact that I can't see a clear plan doesn't mean that there isn't one, and also, eventually, I'm pretty sure the way to go here is to just, like, find a good way to give up the pawn on c4 to activate the bishop, and then things will just fall apart on their own.
Praggnanandhaa still winning.
Still winning, yeah.
Still.
But weirdly, the evaluation just doesn't move, right? It's been kind of keeping solid at around 4, and it continues staying solid at that level.
4 is a lot, so you assume it just ends somehow, but
yeah,
Also, there must be potential breakthroughs here, no? You go g4, h5, but
you put the bishop on the b1, h7 diagonal, and you go g4, hg, h5, and then take on f5, and you win. Yeah, but it also feels that the creators kind of expended enough effort for me to actually pay attention. I use very, very like narrow slices of public to ask for opinions. I like tomato meter is not a thing I consult very often, but I do ask friends.
Wow, once again, the brag about friends and shots fired at the tomato meter.
We could remake Ender's Game, says Distant Roarings. Has it ever been made?
I'm very tempted to do some nerd shaming, but
nah.
I feel I'm not winning.
Yeah, and on the other hand, Prague is winning now.
Prague is very much winning.
Perfect segue. Knight e7, rook a7 check, and then rook takes e7, and bishop takes g6, and the game ends.
It did fall apart, and he resigned after bishop e8, which means the tournament is over. It's all